Game, by the way, Baker Mayfield came in and managed to get a couple of scoring drives going for Carolina. Panthers' 8th straight road loss for the Bengals, a 3rd straight home win. Panthers are off to their worst 9-game start since 2012. They were also 2-7. P.J. Walker, we mentioned his numbers, 3 for 10 with 9 yards and 2 interceptions, benched at the start of the second half. So 200-plus scrimmage yards and 5 or more total touchdowns in a single game. Joe Mixon adds his name to this list in the Super Bowl era. Jonathan Taylor did it in 2021, but Rick, to your point, what a day for Joe Mixon. And what a great bounce back for Cincinnati, as you said, after what happened with
Right, and they don't have Chase. So, everybody was laying them for, well, they're not going to win any games because they don't have Jamar Chase. So, but for them to come back, be able to run the ball, Joe Burrow spread the ball around to different targets, and then Mixon, it shows his ability, and he can take over a game if they give him the opportunity to do so, and he did that today.
Pete, how much did they need this win, considering the Chase situation, that their offense was accused of not being able to be as explosive without Jamar there?
Well, and I think you got it differently today. You show you could run the ball, and you show you could, this is not a great team, but their defense has played pretty well for Carolina. This might be one of those games where Carolina just packed it in after they got down 21-0, but this is a good sign. This team, to me, you look at the big teams in the AFC, Buffalo, Kansas City, this team's hanging around right behind them, I think.
They just have to become more consistent week in and week out.
Right. They killed these teams. They dominated this team. They dominated the Falcons a couple weeks ago, same kind of scenario.
So then do you give this win a little bit of a, do you take a little grain of salt with it?
You bounce back off a loss.
Right.
You were bad last week. You bounce back. That's a sign of a good team.
And now they get the bye week, which is certainly going to help. We don't really know what the Chase situation is, how long he's going to be out, not going on IR. So, that's a good sign. So it appears to be a week-to-week thing with Chase. But now that they have the bye week, what are your expectations
If
there?
they play like they did today and they get Chase back, this may be a team that is peaking at the right time during the season to make a significant run.
This is where contenders emerge in November. That's what November's all about. Pretenders fall off, contenders emerge. That's what it's about.
For a guy like Joe Mixon, Pete, having a day like this today, after, he hasn't been as explosive this season. He's been consistent, but not necessarily as explosive. What does this do for a player like him?
Well, I think it gives the offense a different dimension. That's the one thing they hadn't done well. If this offense with those playmakers, when everybody's on the field, can still run the ball like that, they're going to be almost impossible to stop.
Does it take the pressure off of Burrow to have to feed the ball to guys like Tyler Boyd and T. Higgins in terms of having to force it in?
It takes the pressure off the offensive line. You mentioned it. The offensive line was put in pass protection mode the other night, all night long, and they were abused. If you can run the ball, that takes the pressure off the offensive line.
Balanced offenses still win in this league. You just can't be one-dimensional. And when Cincinnati can have a balanced offense and they can get the run game going along with all the offensive weapons and Burrow in the passing game, they're going to be tough to beat.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.